He was supposed to be a tank, but he was so much more. No one could believe what he was capable of.
It's a f***ing tank!
They had to nerf him, but were they too late?
And the hope here is that he is more fair to play against, but also a lot stronger in the hands of 99% of players.
The champion of Nazumah changed League forever.
Oh wow! Xante, hello! You overpower champ, you know? W, Q. Ah! Wow! League of Legends!
K'Sante.
With K'Sante, Riot wanted to create a champion unlike any other. Instead, they showed us the future of League. Now, in a game with monsters, magic, and machinery, K'Sante stands out, partly for having none of those things. K'Sante is just human, with all the benefits and drawbacks that entails. So often in fiction, we're reminded that while humans may have incredible potential, they aren't guaranteed to reach it, and even if they do, the journey rarely passes without paying a cost. K'Sante is technically from Shurima, but Nazumah is not within Azir's grasp. In fact, the actions of Xerath more directly affect its inhabitants, as bizarre creatures fused by his magic stalk the area. The democratic city-state, built around an oasis, survives due to the presence of monster hunters, who both defend and enrich the city. The visual designers took inspiration from Ghana and West Africa generally in designing the look of K'Sante and Nazumah, but his weapons, called Entofos, are patterned after Okinawan tonfa. K'Sante's Entofos, though, have something that traditional tonfa do not. The regenerative hide they're made from can give way to blades beneath. This is K'Sante's ultimate, all out. For good reason, the Champion Spotlight video talks about this one first.
While he's all out, K'Sante gains attack damage that scales with his armor and magic resist. He'll also gain Omnivamp, scaling with his health. In all-out form, K'Sante is no longer a tank.
The designers said that this ability was trying to give players a classic shonen moment, like the Rock Lee versus Gaara fight in Naruto, and Lee, like K'Sante, had no latent magic to fall back on.
A ninja who can do neither ninjutsu or genjutsu is certainly a rarity. Lee has only his taijutsu to rely on. Some might consider that a disadvantage.
That is better! Now I will be able to move freely!
Come on, you really think you'll be able to get through Gaara's defenses just by dropping a couple of pounds of weight?
K'Sante's ultimate ability alone makes him unlike any other champion. He's a tank who can choose to isolate opponents while simultaneously becoming a serious offensive threat. For top laners, it's clear why this idea would be attractive. K'Sante packs multiple top lane niches, tanking, damage, and econ into one champion. Whatever the meta, top laners are forced to adapt to it. You could be known for a scary Lucian one split, and then you're stuck playing Gragas the next. But what if you didn't have to choose? What if you could be an extremely durable tank one moment, and then, with your armor and magic resist converted to damage, a mobile offensive threat the next?
The flash available.
Yeah, jumps on forwards, pulls the K'Sante
What?
back into the play. All out, pulls Bennett.
Bennett?
No way to Shoshu pull that off. Arnold go down as well.
What?
Making his statement in the LPL. Double kill for him, surviving the damage from Yago.
Everything about this champion is distorted by this ultimate ability, and the rest of his abilities are directly affected by whether he's just used it. Between his W, Pathmaker, and his E, Footwork, K'Sante has the mobility to get into your face, and skillful use of his Q and Tofo strikes can draw an enemy away from their team.
Has not flashed as he will all about him over the wall just to escape.
still has his flash.
Combining all these elements, they gave top laners a durable tank champion with great mobility, good crowd control, and the ability to cash in his defense for pure offense. K'Sante is a playmaker's dream. He taps into multiple skill sets that top laners regularly use, but all at the same time. But despite his intriguing design, K'Sante was far from universally loved. When K'Sante was in development, he was known simply as Shurima Tank, as no champion from the region had yet been designed for that role. A roadmap in April 2022 confirmed that he was coming, described as a new high-skill top lane tank.
Yeah, so one of the things that we wanted to do with K'Sante was to release a skill tank. A lot of the tanks that we have in the game are pretty, I don't want to say like mindless, but certainly like easier to play and a lot more straightforward. And tanks, you know, if we were going to see tanks in pro play or just see tanks in general, we were experimenting with the idea of a skill tank and one that took a lot of skill to play.
But as the champion release grew closer, it was clear that Riot wanted to promote K'Sante even more. Lil Nas X announced the champion's prestige skin.
The biggest thing that's happened in the last 2 weeks is the reveal of K'Sante.
Nas loves K'Sante.
So you're telling me you can build tank items and still solo their ADC?
K'Sante's voice was provided by actor Diobia Opare, who you've seen if you watch Game of Thrones, that strangely good 2012 Dread movie, or a lot of other stuff. On top of that, K'Sante's story, once we were able to see it, was unlike many others. He was just a man, though one trained to take on difficult challenges. His story offered representation for gay black men too, a first for the game, and an identity he shares with his voice actor. K'Sante and Nazumah also expanded players' ideas about Shurima and the kinds of people that live there. With all these things going for him, K'Sante should have been a hit, right? Well, in some ways, he still was. A lot of people appreciated the visual and gameplay designs. This champion made Runeterra bigger and more interesting. But unfortunately, K'Sante committed just about the worst sin you can in a competitive game, being overpowered.
So what ended up happening with K'Sante was he was just being pulled in too many directions. It was one of those situations where it's like, okay, do we make a character that no one wants to play but is fair by stripping everything out, or do we release something and then try and balance it afterwards?
이게 그 상태다. 체력 4700, 방어력 329, 마저 201인 챔피언이 저지불가 실드, 벽 넘기는 거 있고요, 에어본 있고, 심지어 쿨타임은 1초밖에 안 되고 마나는 15 들고.
But wait, Riot called this champion a new high-skill top lane tank, right? So if he was overpowered, what about him was so difficult? It seems intuitive that the complexity of K'Sante must stem, in part, from the fact that he really has two sets of abilities, but he's far from the only champion to have something like that. Really, it's that those two sets of abilities should serve very different purposes. If you choose to ult and go aggressive, there is the chance that you're shut down and your team is left without a tank. But what seems like a difficult choice in theory doesn't usually turn out that way in practice, especially in the hands of a pro player.
In the backside, he's gonna take out Paze! This is insanity! How are Quango Freaks win? Never mind, there's a K'Sante. Oh, Dudu comes back. He's trying to help out. Can he take down Keen? I'm curious about this 1v1 now. Who is the better top laner in this position? It looks like Keen as he's over the wall. Dudu trying to hit the Qs and it's not gonna matter.
K'Sante can loiter in the front line, soaking up tons of damage and enemy cooldowns while he crowd controls and stays bulky. Then he can turn the table right as the enemy team is least able to respond, often by isolating an enemy whose 1v1 prospects are now pretty bad.
OMG have so much damage, but they can't do damage. They can't get through the front line. The Shy just what? How did he kill Abel?
And until very recently, K'Sante could just opt out of All Out and become tanky again by reactivating it in the middle of a fight. K'Sante's multiple sets of abilities might mean somewhat more complexity, but it feels like their usage often has a very natural progression, and one that's certainly familiar to pro players. Despite his good mobility, K'Sante's E, footwork, is not exactly a point-and-click engage tool. He's better at getting out of a fight than he is at starting one. His W, Pathmaker, makes him unstoppable and further decreases the damage he takes, but the range isn't massive, and a lot of the changes to it since his release have targeted this ability, including the ability to tap it to become instantly unstoppable and stun someone nearby.
Faker that has fallen so far, Carrier limping away, there's a big old Q! Riot, are you here?
And sure, great mobility is always a positive in League of Legends, but there are also objectives on the map that must be contested. You can't run from a fight forever if you want to win. So with tons of abilities and options, is K'Sante both strong and difficult to play? At the time of recording, the answer is yes. Currently, his win rate in solo queue is well below 50% in every rank besides Grandmaster, and he just got a substantial rework that is making that situation worse. So if you're not one of the best players on the planet, you're probably not seeing incredible K'Sante plays most of the time. And yet, he remains one of the most controversial champions to ever be added to League of Legends.
K'Sante, hello! You overpower champ, you know? W, Q. Wow! Wow! League of Legends! Wow!
So how exactly did he get this way?
Okay guys, let's group up for the objective. GigaChad42, are you coming or what?
Sorry, I'm just trying to do my taxes. I forgot it's the last day I can and these forms are so complicated.
Why don't you just file them using Cash App taxes?
Wait, Cash App can do my taxes now?
Oh yeah. Using Cash App, you can file your federal and state taxes for free. They even include free audit defense with every return. On top of that, they check the math for you, so you know you're getting the max refund.
So you're saying I can get this done quickly?
Most people can file in minutes, and by the looks of how you're playing, you're going to be spending quite a few of them sitting out this game.
What? No! Like I needed this too.
K'Sante released in November 2022 and almost immediately made an impact. The next competitive split in 2023 saw some highlights showing exactly why the character would become maligned.
Requires is good vision, good planning. You need to ensure that you can actually make that move. Good damage coming back and forth between Ebby and Finn. The ground challenge is popped and Ebby just destroys him!
It's a f***ing thing! At the end of the day, Young Jay will just
Riot, Riot.
They don't quite have the damage.
Riot.
So low health bars though, as Kroko and Yehu
Riot,
trying
Riot.
to take out K'Sante. It's literally impossible.
Riot,
You
Riot.
cannot take the K'Sante out of the game.
Throughout Season 13, K'Sante was a constant presence in high-level play, and that wasn't exactly a good thing.
Such a mind-boggling champion, made only to sell a prestige skin from Lil Nas. It's like, I have no clue what were they smoking making this champion. No! No! No!
Let's watch the replay. He Talia W's him, and then he Lee Sin kicks him, not only to the wall, but through the wall. Season 13. Then he gets his Wolverine knives and just cracks his neck open.
We spin those!
Yeah, LOL.
And Showmaker's rant, which we played earlier, took on a life of its own as an emoji-laden meme. K'Sante also broke out to the top lane. Mid laners saw the potential for a safe laning phase that would bring a ton to teamfights, including damage, so that's how legends like Faker and Chovy started playing him.
Is it mid K'Sante for Chovy? Or is it top lane K'Sante for Dor?
Gragas, yeah. think we're just going to get Cassante top. So that is the choice. Let's see where this all goes. Having a really great time, and okay, knockup comes in, and they're trying to 100-0 the Ari, and they will.
A bit of trouble here, but does manage to mitigate some of that CC. Goes all out onto Peanut, now just trying to fight the Poppy. Chovy, though, is going to make his way through. Faker's still alive for the moment. Flash! He'll survive!
Not too many other mid lane champs are getting away with that. Cassante was particularly prominent at MSI, where he had an 89% presence and a 57.6% win rate. And the problem with a potential across-the-board nerf is that the character actually was popular. Fans were interested, and people playing solo queue wanted to play him too. But Cassante's win rate at lower skill levels was really terrible, and showed no signs of getting better. And so, in October 2023, a substantial rework to Cassante targeted this disparity. The hope was to make him better in lower elo brackets so that more casual players could enjoy him, while making him less attractive to pro players in competition by making it easier to react to him.
Move on to the next one, and there is a very, very large set of changes to Cassante. Cassante holds all the cards because you can't really poke him out. And every time he opens up this opportunity, he has the chance of just simply one-shotting you. And the hope here is that he is more fair to play against, but also a lot stronger in the hands of 99% of players. Currently, the only elo where Cassante has a 50% win rate or higher is exactly Challenger. Even in Silver, Yasuo has like a 48% win rate. Cassante is like 44 in Silver. And like that's very, very far apart. So let's try to bridge these things. Let's bring up his bottom end. Let's bring down his top end. Let's make him more fair.
Unfortunately, these changes caused his pro win rate to skyrocket again, while not having much of an impact on the average player. In fairness to Riot, this is a legitimately difficult balancing act, and it's not the first time they've confronted this issue.
Cassante is probably going to be the like on average best tank in pro play, because if we're going to balance champions remotely around one another, and Cassante is just harder than every other tank, he's going to have lower winners than every other tank in solo queue and be better than every other tank in pro play where they have the practice on him.
But despite their best efforts, Cassante was allowed another competitive reign of terror in Season 14, even though he had an abysmal win rate in everything below Challenger.
Keen tanking on the left side. Goes down, and Keen is still alive. He is still alive in the back line. And Genji, they take the fight.
Uh-oh, walking a bit too far.
Uh-oh, Caps.
Caps just gonna wander away.
He's still too tanky though. Wait, what is this, man? Like, seriously, I'm tired of this shit.
Another problem was that, for a variety of reasons, lane swaps became popular in some regions, and a late Cassante pick fit into that situation pretty well. After an MSI with more incredible presence statistics, Cassante was again nerfed in patch 14.11, where he was made less tank-like, trying to preserve a niche for more traditional fight-initiating tanks. But pros didn't care, especially in the LPL, where Cassante had a 92.3% presence in their regional finals.
The chance to get that bully ahead, as you mentioned, get that farm onto the cannon.
No way.
Oh, no.
Oh, Breathe, this cannot happen, man. He's gonna get the flash out too. Zeka kills him.
Notably, he can't cancel his ult anymore. Once he's an assassin, he stays that way for the duration.
So in terms of giving Cassante less agency, can't cancel out of R means you are just squishy for this entire ultimate, deal with it. You cannot re-aim W, deal with it. Q is more dodgeable, deal with it.
But whatever happens to Cassante next, preliminary opinions on the changes don't make it seem like Riot have figured out how to get this champion into the hands of more solo queue players. Cassante is just a man, and most of his players are just people. They want to find their own limits and achieve their potential without already being gods. As for the champion, this intriguing idea of a tank that turns the tables feels like it's literally hanging in the balance. It's possible that there is some solution that will both nerf him for pros and make him more viable for everyone else, but it's not clear what that is. His impact on the game so far has been undeniable. The question is what will be lost or sacrificed in that journey to eventually fix Cassante, whether the very core of this champion has to be discarded to make that happen.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this,
hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.